Hello everyone, welcome to Mentors for IAS. I am Dr. Arjun Bopanna, your anthropology faculty. This is Anthropology HIT series, that is high impact topic, where we are discussing some of the important topics for your upcoming mains examination. Usually that is not covered in your standard textbooks or in your class notes. So let's dive into today's hit topic in anthropology, that is the mana theory of caste system. Yes, we have discussed about mana in our chapter on religion in socio-cultural anthropology in paper 1, right? So this concept of mana was used by Hutton to explain the origin of caste system in India. So you can expect a 10-marker question called as mana and caste system in paper 2 as part of your discussion on caste system. So there are various theories to explain the origin of caste system. And, we have traditional theories, functional theories, guild theories, political theories, etc. Hutton, in his book, right, Caste in India, Nature, Function, and Origin, in that book, he explains the origin of caste system based on the concept of mana. Mana is an impersonal, supernatural power that is associated with people, individual objects, etc., and very commonly studied by anthropologists in context of Melanesian and Polynesian islanders, right? So you would have studied and very familiar with it in paper 1. So you can expect a 10-marker question this year in your mains based on this concept, mana and caste system, a 10-marker question. So what should you explain? So Hutton is the scholar who explains the origin of caste system based on mana. So you'll have to mention Hutton in your answer, right? So why and how does he explain mana to, how it led to the origin of caste system? So that also should be there in your answer. So let's see what all things that you have to mention in your answer. One is Hutton in his book, The Caste in India, Its Nature, Function, and Origin. Very important work by Hutton, in which he explains the origin of caste system. So he says that it is the practice of mana by our tribes that gave rise to various practices like taboo, which led to restrictions in commensalism, in interaction with other group people, practice of endogamy, which ultimately gave rise to caste system. If you see this diagram over here, mana, okay, which is a religious practice that led to various practices of taboo, that you are not supposed to touch a person from another group because they have different mana. You're not supposed to eat food with them or take food from them. You're not supposed to follow their occupation, etc. So this gave rise to several restrictions on interaction between different groups. So this led to segregation of people into different groups. This segregation in turn gave rise to caste system in India, is what Hutton argues, right? So practice of taboo associated with mana, which led to restrictions on commensality, marriage, occupation, etc., which in turn gave rise to caste system. So he did a study among the northeastern tribes. These pre-Aryan tribes had the practice of, or they had some practice of mana, which in turn led them to believe that they should not interact with other group people. For example, he observed that in northeastern villages, people followed a particular occupation. People from the other group were not allowed to follow that occupation because they believed that it will bring bad luck. Even migrants, when they went and settled in these villages, were not allowed to practice the occupation of other groups. Okay, so this practice led H Hutton to believe that it could be this practice of mana that led to caste segregation, right? So he sees that this concept of mana in various religion is very much prevalent. For example, even in Buddhism, it's called as Edi, Islam, Kudrat, in Hinduism, Shakti. So you have this impersonal power which people feared, which led them to segregate themselves from other groups, which in turn might have led to the origin of caste system. Now, however, this theory is not well accepted. It was criticized by several anthropologists on various grounds. One is it did not explain why caste system did not have a universal presence. See, mana is universal. Then why not caste is universal? Caste is very unique to India, right? So that is one thing. Universality of mana. That means caste also should be universal. But the fact is, caste is very unique to India. It's not found in Polynesia. It's not found in Melanesia, where you also have mana. Second, there is insufficient archaeological evidences to show that mana alone led to caste system. Also, it is very oversimplified explanation because it neglects political factors, it neglects economic factors, other sociological factors in the origin of caste system. Okay, you have Louis Dumont in his book Homo Hierarchy. In that, he explains that, or he criticizes, saying that it neglects religious ideologies to explain caste system. So make sure you mention these things in your answer to fetch good marks. Then Andre Betiel, he says that mana may explain why there is segregation, but it could not explain why there is hierarchy within the caste system. Yes, mana might have led to segregation, but what led to a superior caste, an inferior caste, untouchability, etc., that has various other factors in play and not just mana. So this is some of the important content that you have to write in your answer when a question on mana and caste system is asked. So I hope it was useful, because it's a very important topic and you can expect this particular topic to be asked in this year's mains. Also, I want to remind you all that I'll be conducting free test series with evaluation and value addition notes for those who will be writing their mains this year. So if you are somebody who is writing your mains this year, make sure you contact this number and start writing your tests, and make sure you improve your answers. I'll help you to do that. I will mentor you to make sure that you get maximum marks in this year's mains. Thank you so much for watching. I'll come up with another hit topic in the next video. Have a good day.